Okay, this is video number 4 in my 5-part series on happiness. This one is titled, We've Got Bliss All Wrong. Hi, welcome back. This is video 4 of 5 on happiness, and this one is all about bliss. And I titled this one, We've Got Bliss All Wrong. So I came about this information from the book The Willpower Instinct by Kelly McGonigal. And in there, she talks about a study, I think in the 1950s, by some scientists called Olds and Milner. And they put some, electric probes in on some rats' brains, and they were studying what that part of the brain did. And they thought they found the bliss region of the brain. And it was because, when that part of the brain was stimulated, the rats would do whatever they could to get that part of the brain stimulated. So the rats were able to, push a button or do something so that it would trigger that, and they would forego eating or sleeping or drinking or anything. They would just do this, like they were addicted to pushing this button. And even if the scientists electrified the grid, the floor underneath the rats, they didn't care about the pain as long as they were able to push this button. So the scientists thought this must be the bliss region. They must be feeling something really good from pushing this button if they would give up everything else, right? So then I think it was Robert Heath thought he would do this experiment on humans. And so they got these electric probes in the same regions of the brain on humans, and the humans were able to push the button, and they were also addicted to pushing this button. And even after everything was turned off, they would, there's some instances of the patients pushing the button like another 200 times, or basically having to take it away from the people arguing that they want to keep pushing it. And at that time, apparently, from what is written in this book, the scientists didn't care so much about what the patients were saying. They were all about observations. But they did there was some anecdotes from some patients, and one of them mentions it being extremely frustrating, not 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 the pleasure we thought, but kind of like anxiety inducing, kind of like almost about to finish a big project or complete something or achieve something, right? So just on the cusp of doing something. So what it seems like is what they tapped into was, they call it the reward system. And I think there's a lot of studies about dopamine and the reward system. But the way it's written in the book, they call it the promise of reward. So I think we should call it more the incentive system rather than the reward system. Because these good feelings, going back to my other videos, it's all about survival, and feelings are all about kind of guiding us in certain directions. So good feelings and dopamine, they actually comes back to that anticipation happiness. It's all about pulling you towards something. So you may have heard the term, the grass always seems greener on the other side. People always kind of want what they don't have. But that's apparently hardwired into us, that we have a bias towards the things we don't have. The promise of reward. The thing we have, that's okay. But what would be really great is something new and different, right? So similar to the rider and the elephant, the elephant has kind of more power because that's better for survival. So when our energy is low, when we're threatened, the elephant takes over for immediate survival. And in this case, we've got a bias towards the promise of reward versus reward itself. And that keeps us on the lookout for something bigger and better. So it's good for survival, if we've got, food and shelter sorted out, but we're always looking for, oh, maybe this would be a better source of food and a better source of shelter, right? So it makes sense that we have this system. It makes sense that we utilize it, but in today's society, it can get hijacked, right? And I was thinking, when I was reading this book, I was thinking, wow, they actually did this experiment on humans. They had the probes in the humans' brains. They had a device like wired up that people could push their own button to stimulate this. And they even had a portable version that this one person could take home. And I was thinking, wow, could you imagine if they monetized this? Could you imagine if they somehow made a business of this? Because clearly people can't control themselves, and they would just, keep pushing the button even after it's turned off. So like, if you could somehow set people up to have to pay for this or whatever, right? And then I was thinking, maybe, I thought it would be kind of complicated with the wires, but then I was thinking, we've got it. They did it. We got our cell phones. Here's an older one of mine. And here we are, kind of stuck on this in promise of reward cycle. And so that's just like we have to remember. So we're meeting machines. We've got two systems, and now I'll draw a picture of, I don't know, a cell phone. A cell phone doesn't quite wrap up or grasp what I wanted to convey. But what I chose, when I was coming up with these symbols, I chose a slot machine, gambling. The one-armed bandit, they used to call it. I don't know if slot machines are still popular these days in pop culture, but here we go. Slot machine, money across the top. The ultimate promise of reward. Because in our society, we seem to have equated money with, the best thing there is, right? We simplified it down. Money can buy anything, so therefore money is the default of the best thing, right? Anyway, so what you have to keep in mind is we are biased to the promise of reward, and we got to watch out for this. We have to watch out for all of these marketing geniuses that come up with selling you on the products they want you to buy. So we're out there trying to figure out, remember happiness from video one, happiness equals feeling like things are going to be all right. So they're gonna try to sell us on something, with this product, all of your dreams will come true. Everything will be all right. These shoes, these clothes, this house, this car, this food, this vacation, it's all trying to sell you on this promise of reward. When we don't recognize that happiness equals feeling like things are going to be all right, we're getting pulled to strong feelings. Strong feelings are guesses on, based on the meaning we've come up with, right? So it's all this kind of complicated thing. It's a little bit complicated, but there's only a few things happening here. We're making a meeting catalog. We're balancing long-term and short-term rewards. And we're on the lookout for something better, the promise of reward. Once we recognize that it's this simple, we can evaluate the options in front of us. Is this going to make me happier in the sense of, is this going to solve some of my problems? Is this going to make me feel like everything's going to be all right? Is my definition or the way where I'm thinking about everything being all right, do I have a good meaning catalog? Do I have a good set of data on what actually makes me feel like things are all right. And then, you know, am I looking at long-term goals or am I looking at short-term goals, right? And is this promise of reward, you know, reputable? Let me look back at my experiences. Last time I bought a pair of shoes, how long did that make me feel good or feel like things are going to be all right? And I personally have been known to buy too many shoes or too many jackets in the past. So I know how it can get how you can get tricked into these things. So that's it for this video. One more video, and we're going to talk about these feelings and how they fit into this puzzle and into this mix here.